Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We've got Senator Babangida Hussaini here with us. He is representing Jigawa Northwest Senatorial District. He's the chairman, Senate Committee on Farmer, among several things, I tell you. So, good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on today.
Me, I appreciate
yeah, so let's start with getting your impression, first of all, of the activity of Port Harcourt Old Refinery. I know that at least senators too would have heard it and read it, and perhaps looking forward to it and more. So how did that news greet you? How did you see it?
Well, it is quite a very pleasant and encouraging news, having regard to the frequent issues around the petroleum sector. Regarding the importation, the withdrawal of subsidy, the Dangote NNPL controversies. So I think it's a good news, and I think I pray that other refineries will also come on stream and begin production.
But would you be disappointed to hear that even if all the other refineries come on stream, we're told that the impact on the price will be marginal, maybe not significant as consumers?
Yes. Well, you know, there are a lot of variables that affect the pricing of any commodity. And in the case of the petroleum sector, I think it is partly dependent on the strength of the naira. At the same time, you know, of even greater concern for me is the absence of control in our borders. Most of these petroleum products are normally smuggled out of Nigeria. To as far as Mali, Central African Republic, a lot of African countries. I have no issue with supporting and supplying our neighbors, but it should be done on a government-to-government basis, so that at least there will be formal record of what comes in and what goes out. And at the same time, you know, it will surely affect our forex. The strength of the naira will be enhanced, and at the same time, we can as well formalize the relationship and strengthen it. I think those are the areas that gives me concern.
I mean, we want to be able to talk about the 2025 budget estimates, and there have been a lot of criticisms about these estimates and what kind of impact they would have when it comes to development. One of the major criticisms is that they're not very capital project intensive. You know, they're not really focusing on capital project. A lot of it is recurrent expenditure, and of course, even the figure of the budget itself, it may be higher than last year's budget, but in dollar terms, it's actually less. And we're trying to move the economy forward, trying to boost areas like manufacturing and boost the internally generated revenue of the states. What do you make of these controversies around the 2025 budget, and what kind of impact it would have on the development we're planning for?
The truth is, I have not gotten the smaller details as contained in the budget, but the broader outline of the budget, it's quite ambitious, but like you pointed out, for me it is not about the numbers, but it is about the cascading effect of the budget on the productive sectors of the economy. Over the years, we have spent so much money on non-essential sectors of the economy to the detriment of the productive sectors of the economy. The small and medium-scale enterprises that drive and are the engine room of any economy globally are neglected. They don't seem to have the kind of support that will drive the ambitious plan of this administration. One. Secondly, the agricultural sector, if you disaggregate the value chain of the agriculture, a lot of opportunities are there. That we are facing the threat of food security because we have not invested so much in the agricultural sector. Besides that, even those that have made the industries, like for instance, the rice millers, for me, if we want to go forward, it is about backward integration. It is not about any rice miller just coming in to set up a rice mill. Government should encourage a backward integration so that they can produce the rice they mill. Those are the areas that gives me concern. Furthermore, the issue of the ratio between the capital and the recurrent is also a source of concern. In 2015-2016 budget, there was a remarkable shift towards spending more on capital and infrastructure, but over the years, I think we are receding back to the former budgeting cycle of spending more on capital and non-productive sectors in the economy, to the detriment of the productive sectors of the economy that create employment, create wealth, and bring about prosperity for Nigerians.
So is that not something that, as a senator, you can also have an input and perhaps lobby your colleagues to ensure that they make that point to the executive?
I think the 10th Assembly, under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio, has demonstrated the willingness to engage the executive to ensure that we kind of try to strike a balance between these contending paradigms. When the budget is laid, of course, the relevant committees will look at it. The National Planning Committee, the Finance Committee, the Appropriation, and all other committees will go into the smaller details and bring to the fore these silent issues.
So in terms of the overall impact of budgets, not just this budget, budgets generally, and I know you might have heard that criticism as well, that they usually just recurring items time and again, and they keep wondering, why do they keep allocating funds here? People don't understand why you have to buy utensils and all this is every cycle.
A new car every cycle.
And so they keep wondering, don't lawmakers see these things? Or do you just say, well, let's just go with the flow so that if I scratch their back, they scratch my back?
Well, I want to contextualize this question. I just left the executive arm of government as a civil servant. I see these things, they recur almost every budget cycle, and they are a source of concern. But fundamentally, I think it's about our budgeting process. Ordinarily, the call circular is supposed to be issued in the month of September to ministries, departments, and agencies for them to put up their budget estimates. And then between the month of October and November, the budget is laid before the National Assembly. Adequate time will be given for the National Assembly to do due diligence on the budget and then fish out these recurring items that come almost ICT, consumables, ICT hardware,
furniture every year.
It is quite a source of concern, and I think it all boils down to the issue of our haste in preparation of our budget, and also at the same time lack of attention given to smaller details. But I think over the years, with the experience of Mr. President...
but Senator, even if we're in a hurry to prepare the budget, if they give it to me, and I have 4 years, the first year, and before coming in there, I've been in Nigeria, and I see these things, and then I come in and I say, furniture, utensils, plates, come on, no matter how fast and how in a hurry I am, I should be able to say, no, come on guys, what is this?
I quite agree with you, and I think, like I earlier on said, it is all a matter of our preparations. If we attach and give time, in the past, even there are circulars to that effect. Budget call circulars are expected to be issued first week of September of every financial year. And then ministries, departments, and agencies have about a month, and they would have collected all these inputs from their respective field offices, from their departments, from their units, aggregate all of them, and come up with their budget estimate in 1 month. And then the copy of those estimates is submitted to the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, who will do all the, based on the envelope system and based on the financial strength of the government at that particular time, they now submit it to the National Assembly. So I think, because as I speak with you...
But that's the question, Senator. Let's not gloss over it. You've not answered Chamberlain's question. When these things are brought in front of you, because they have to come to the National Assembly. So when you look at it and you see that they are repeating things, has the National Assembly, the Senate, have they ever said, oh, no, this doesn't look right. Why is this happening? Has that ever happened? Or is it glossed over? Like he said, is there a situation where you just let it go because you may need them at some point? You don't want them to be angry with you.
Not really. I think, to be fair to the 10th Assembly, and I'm a member of the 10th Assembly anyway, to be fair to the system and the Appropriation Committee, they have done some of those aggregation. But like I said, we have to go back to the process of a formal budgeting system that has been in place in the past. And
Would there be a difference?
Definitely,
because there was furniture in that process too.
Yeah, but still, if you juxtapose it against what happens over the years, you will surely see that it's not as bad as it was. But of course, the proliferation of the creation of agencies of government over the years, almost every government comes in with new policy initiatives, new thinking, and then agencies, departments, ministries, committees, commissions are set up. And then, of course, they all come with different demands that they present and are captured in the budget. So fundamentally, I think the filtering process should start from the budget office of the Federation.
But is it true that these things, in fact, people should not expect an immediate change because they say there's a racket going on here? Because most times, even these budgets, they don't get to release the entire amount. And in some cases too, they will tell you, well, you need to give us a certain percentage of this budget if you have to have your budget released. They say some lawmakers may ask MDAs.
Well, those are, statements in the realm of allegations, if you like. I will give an example. I'm chairing a committee, FEMA committee as it were, and I engaged the MDA to say that, look, prioritize the areas that you think you really need the legislative funding and also the support you need to do your job. So, of course, a lot of allegations can come up. You can get to hear a lot of such stories, but I really don't know anything about it. But I think where the issue lies, and maybe where people tend to mix issues, is about the relationship between the legislature and the executive. It is a symbiotic relationship. We all do have our constitutional responsibilities, and we are expected to work harmoniously together. Where you have that relationship, a lot of allegations and a lot of permutations are brought to the table to say that, oh, they have given in, oh, they have photocopied that, this and that. But fundamentally, I think I don't have any such information in respect of scratch my back, I scratch your back, take this, I take that. I don't have such information.
All right, well, we'll get back to that conversation with you because I do have more questions about this back scratching. But just so we can give you some of the breaking news that you can see actually scrolling right now on your screens, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has instituted a 110 billion naira alleged fraud suit against former governor of Kogi State, and I think we're trying to get the visuals right now, and I hear that he has been arraigned in court. We're seeing that breaking news right now. He's adorning a white kaftan, according to the details that we're getting, a blue cap. He was accompanied by officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, arraigned before Justice Marianne Aneni of the Federal Capital Territory High Court. So that's the breaking story that we have there right now. So back to this back scratching business. I mean, you've done a lot to debunk it, but let's talk a little bit more about the budget for 2025. What are your hopes? What are the hopes that we're having as we're moving the country out of the doldrums that we're in right now with the figures that we're seeing right now? It's not complete. Not all the states have submitted yet. But when we're looking at 2025, what are we expecting to see in terms of development? Is this the way to go? Or are there some changes that states should be thinking about right now as we move into 2025?
Well, I will not be able to speak on the subnationals, but I can speak about the expectations of Nigerians as a representative of the people. Fundamentally, I think the budget should address issues of poverty reduction, issues of completion and commission of ongoing projects. Over the years, we have a lot of projects that have been neglected and have not been completed, some reaching as far as 80–90% completion stage. And I think the budget should address those kind of concerns. At the same time, the issue of youth unemployment, there is youth restiveness everywhere. Every small issue, you'll see the reaction of the youth to them because most of them are idle, they don't have work to do. And the opportunities are there. The economy is so huge with a lot of opportunities. It is only about harnessing those opportunities and putting in place mechanism to address such concerns. And I think those, for me, are the areas the budget should address. But of course, I'm not from the executive. I don't do the budget. They do it, we look at it, and then if it is okay, we pass it.
Is this budget in any way, and to what extent do you think is going to address the real concerns the people have? Because as it is now, people just feel it's going to be business as usual.
Well, you see, budget is an estimate dependent on a lot of variables. The revenue flow of the government is very important. And the revenue flow of the government, Nigeria being almost a mono-dependent export nation, or largely dependent on the export of our crude. And the international oil market, as you know, is volatile. dependent also on a lot of factors. Peace is one of them. When Ukraine and Russia went to war, it affected the global oil price. When China and other countries have issues with their economies, it naturally affects the price of oil. So for me, I think hoping that the variables will hold for now, and then taking the price benchmark, a crude oil benchmark of $75 a barrel, holding for a while, I think with the commitment of this administration, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, I think they should be able to deliver on some of the promises made in the budget.
Maybe you should simplify it a little further for people out there, because I mean, you're in touch with your constituency. They always reach out to you saying, listen, we want something meaningful economically. Yeah. Could you break it down to the extent that they will understand, why do we need to pass budgets? What direct impact will it make on their lives?
Well, definitely, you see, the constituent I represent is perhaps one of the most, let me see, environmentally impacted part of Nigeria, lying close to the border, and with the desertification and the global warming phenomena coming up. And then at the southern part of my constituency, again, we have flooding issues. So, you know, a kind of paradox. Here we are faced with the desertification. On the other side, we are faced with flooding. But overall, I think governments need to do more in terms of monitoring and evaluation, because oftentimes these funds are appropriated, releases made, reasonable releases made, not necessarily fully. Of course, like I said, it's dependent on the
most times flow. It's never fully.
It never fully. So, but I think it's about the utilization of what is available for the benefit of the common man. And like I earlier on said, the most important thing the budget should address and we should be looking at is about investing in the productive sectors of the economy. If you go to, for instance, Megateri Market in Jigawa, in the zone I represent, or Gujungu Market, those are very good examples of how we can harness the opportunities that are there. It's the largest sesame producing part of Nigeria, and also the hibiscus flower. Countries, especially in the Middle East and the Far East, are always in demand of this kind of. So the opportunity and the investment to bring about the opportunity that will, help in exporting these commodities and earn foreign exchange for Nigeria is enormous. And I think those are the areas that the common man should be concerned with. Fertilizer for his farm when the rainy season comes, not when he's almost harvesting and then the fertilizers are supplied. At the same time, the issue of employment, the level of unemployment is quite alarming, and perhaps that accounts for most of the reaction of the youth when matters go out of hand. If you could recall, during the good governance protest, my properties were attacked. My farm, actually, my animals carted away. Yeah. But I understand the anger and the pain. For them, it is about whatever they can lay their hands on and they can pay.
Wait, this recent protest?
Yes.
Not NSAS protest?
Yes.
You got what?
Yes.
Wait, was your farm borderless?
Yes. And it wasn't
there's
borderless.
a water project going on in your senatorial district, and I know that because of that, water is being connected from a very big source into all the farms in your area.
Irrigation scheme,
irrigation. So it's an irrigation, and because of that, they don't have all those walls that are separating one farm from the other. Your farms are basically on the highway. I want to be able to talk about the sesame seed production in your state, because you are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of exporting of the seeds themselves.
Yes.
What moves are being made by you as someone who represents that constituency for us to actually turn those seeds into oil? Because what we're doing now is that we're exporting those seeds at different levels of polishing, but then you now import from China the finished product. What's being done?
Okay, last month, a couple of months back, I reached out to the Nexim Bank, because we have to disaggregate the sesame production value chain, the production, the processing, and the export or the marketing part of it. And we got support from Nexim Bank. They held a huge workshop and seminar, an enlightenment seminar. I invited 750 farmers from the 12 constituencies that I represent. We had a one-day program, and it was quite revealing. One, the quality of the seeds we are even using is outdated kind of. The productivity level is quite low. There are better seeds that have better quality and better returns. Secondly, the cleaning process of the finished product itself is quite rudimentary and archaic. They have shown to the farmers some simple, advanced way of cleaning the sesame seed that will meet up to international standards. From the marketing side, the phytohygiene section, that's the chemicals they use in storing and packaging and, the transportation. We are all taken through them and we are all enlightened. In fact, the KPIs from that program is what we are working with the Nexim Bank to drive it further so that my people will surely benefit from that. So we are working closely together with the Nexim Bank and other agricultural institutions to drive and to reform the sector entirely.
Is there going to be a demand from the Senate, if not, maybe you can lead it, to always give account of unspent budgetary funds? Because usually there's a lot, right from the time of former Speaker Dimeji Bankole, who himself said, look, there are usually a lot of these funds, and what happens is when it gets to that time, they say, look, we have to find a way to push this fund somewhere so that it doesn't return to the coffers.
I think that's in the old accounting system that was in place in the past. Now the money is in the pocket of the government itself. It is normally released on demand after contracts are executed. In the past, like you pointed out, that was the practice. At the end of the year, monies, I will use the term, were housed until the financial year ends, and then they are brought back and then used again. But this time around, because of the TSA and other accounting models in place, that doesn't happen again. But I think where we probably have to do more is in terms of our oversight. Oftentimes, our oversight rather a little bit, we kind of, it's not deep enough. And that's, I think, what this National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly is dealing with. It is on record that this is the first time that recess was granted by the leadership to allow committees to go on oversight, 2 weeks recess, and we just came back. We have collated our reports, and the outcome of such oversight is quite revealing. The inertia in the system, the lack of initiatives, and some other areas. I think almost all the committees are going to lay their reports, and then, of course, it will form part of the input for the 2025 budget.
So as we wind down, let me ask you, are you happy with the way things are in this country with the economy?
It can be better.
And you're not happy with it at the moment?
It can be better. That I think is the way to put it. I'm a Nigerian. I love Nigeria. I appreciate the reform initiatives of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but I think we can do better.
But do you understand when people say some of these policies need to be reviewed?
No, of course.
Some of them are not
no,
working.
of course. No, of course. Policies are not cast in stone. They are supposed to be dynamic. They are supposed to respond to the demands of the time. So I believe there is need for us to look inwards and do more in terms of delivery and in terms of our overall governance architecture.
Do you have conversations with your governor in terms of what he needs to do, how he needs to impact the lives of people better?
No, of course, yes, we do. Governor Umar Namadi is a personal friend. Beyond even being a personal friend, we formed a bond during the campaigns. I think if I may just recap this, he actually said, Senator, we have to go to the villages and see and really understand the challenges in the communities. And I think we have designed an 11-point agenda which he is aggressively pursuing. So I think we're on the same page and we share the same concerns.
You've at least been in civil service, in the executive.
Yes.
What is usually the main problem? Why governors are not able to deliver to the people? And at the end of the day, you see them facing several cases with the EFCC for being accused of stolen money. In fact, some also extended it and say, civil service is evil service.
Okay, thank you very much. I retired a couple of 2 years back, 2 years plus back. I know the issues in the civil service. Some of them dates back to the culture in the civil service itself. And of course, the civil service is a microcosm of the larger society. It reflects what the society is all about. So I think governors, not even governors, all of us have to work together to have the service, the civil service that will deliver on our demands.
All right, so I think those images you saw, I hope I did say the same.
We're looking at them.
They are, when I was speaking about governors, so that's the former governor of Kogi State. Yeah. The EFCC had instituted a 110 billion naira alleged fraud suit against him. And the last hearing, which we understand was in November, the EFCC did seek an adjournment to that matter for tomorrow. But at the moment, it's going to be arraigned before Justice Marian Aneni of the Federal of FCT High Court. It turns out that the former governor, alongside Omar Oricha and Abdulsalami Hudu, are being prosecuted as the first and third defendants in that fresh 110 billion naira 16-count charge brought against them by the EFCC. Now, he's not taking his plea yet, so we cannot tell if he's going to be remanded in EFCC custody. But we also do know some time ago, remember, former Delta State governor was picked up by the commission, and perhaps all of that info is also out there. But we will bring you more details on this matter as we get them. Senator, moving forward now, I know you say it can be better, but timeline is a difficult thing. Unemployment rates, both at the federal and state level, is huge. And perhaps maybe that's why you were, well, should I say, understanding of those who came to your farm. Yeah. But the problem with that is if they did it then, it means they could do it again if the authorities don't do something to empower a lot of those people with industries, even if it's cottage industries, as it were.
The irony is that you see, over the years, we have not invested so much in terms of creating employment opportunities. In the past, you know, the natural habitat of anybody is the civil service. Once they finish their school, in the civil service. But the private sector has not been given the enabling environment to absorb most of these young boys and girls that have just graduated and gotten these certificates. And of course, an idle mind, they say, is a devil's workshop. Most of them are at home, and that's why the first motion I laid in the National Assembly as a member of the Senate was about the issue of substance and drug abuse. Most of them resort as an escapist strategy. Very unfortunate. It has cascaded even to the family level. Hardly you go to any family, especially in the urban centers, Abuja, Kano, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, you will be shocked at the level of drug and substance abuse. And of course, it's a function of unemployment. You know, the youth have really not much to do. If we can invest so much in our industrial hubs, Sharadai in Kano, Kakuri in Kaduna, Agbara in Lagos, Ikeja, Newi, Aba, those are places that will really provide the push for us to have clusters of industry that will be employing these young men and boys that are loitering at home.
I think it's a conversation worth having moving forward, perhaps across board, such that industries. So if we do that, get a lot of people out of the streets so that we can get this country moving. After all, they are the future. Yeah. So if we lose them now, it means we've got no future.
Sure.
Senator, I want to thank you for coming on this morning. All the best to you and your team.
Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Business Morning comes up now.